Welcome back, the students of class 8. Welcome back again to our social science history class. So students, in this class today we are going to discuss another subunit. It is the abundant furnaces in villages. Okay, and it is present in your page number 89 of your NCERT old NCERT history book part 2 and chapter number 7. So open quickly and follow. So you know that how did the local smelting industry, mainly the woods industry, was so much famous in India in the first half of the and second half of the 18th century as well as in the first half of 19th century. Now, how did this woods making industry as well as the iron smelting industry started declining? Today in this subunit we are going to discuss that. First, we have to know how was the technique for making such kind of strong steel. So the production of woods steel required a highly specialized technique of refining iron, and in this process in the 19th century they need lot of workers and some different methods. So up to 19th century in Bihar and central India in particular, every district have smelters and they use the local deposits of ore to produce tools for their daily use. Okay, so enough ore, iron ore is reserved in that regions that was used for making their daily equipments and tools. So the furnaces was the main feature in the iron smelting unit, and the furnaces were built of clay and sun-dried bricks. Okay, mainly the furnaces were built of clay and sun-dried bricks, and inside these furnaces they smelt the iron, and the smelting was done by men and women both, and they worked together. And the men, they mainly taking part in the smelting process, while the women they worked on the bellow. Bellow is one type of equipment that can pump air on furnaces. Okay, that can pump air on the furnaces like harmonium. You can see you know that in harmonium there is a bellow, the same type of bellow also used to pump air inside the furnaces. Okay, and to keep the charcoal burning. And today in some places you can see that they use the modern day table fans. Okay, so to the charcoal keep burning. So by the late 19th century the amount of iron producers came down slowly, but suddenly the amount of iron smelters came down in India. So what are the reasons? What are the reasons behind this decline? The number one reason is new forest law. The new forest law was implemented, you have already read in chapter number 4 of book 1. So this new forest law prevent people from entering the reserve forests, so it would be difficult for them to collect wood for charcoal. Okay, so sometimes they also entered inside the forest secretly. Okay, inside the forest, entered the forest secretly, defying the forest laws. But what happened actually, it is not a permanent solution. It could not be a permanent solution, because hiding and collecting woods for charcoal, it is very difficult, because it is their occupation and they did it in their daily lives. So many of the people who also involved in the smelting industry, they left their job, they left their ancestral profession and looked for other jobs. Mostly they joined as agricultural labor and also went to the cities in search of work. So number 3 reason, that in some areas government granted access inside the forest, but they had to pay very high taxes for this reason, and it reduced their income. So it was not a permanent solution, because a huge amount of taxes they had to pay, and it was not possible for these poor people, these poor smelters, to pay such kind of high taxes for each of the furnaces. Okay, so it is very much difficult. It was very much difficult for them. Number 4, by the 19th century, iron and steel were being imported from Britain, and the ironsmiths of India, they started using the materials for making utensils and other agricultural equipments, and they used the England made or Britain made steel and iron. So, and when the Indian industrialists, they also established the factories, so then the iron smelting industry was totally collapsed in India. Okay, but still in some places in India, some community, they also practicing the iron smelting, such as the Agarias. In central India, the Agaria is a community who are used to practice the iron smelting, and some communities like Agaria specialized in the craft of iron smelting. And there is a picture given in page number 19, figure number 13. You can see that in the late 19th century, a series of famines devastated the dry tracts of India. So in central India, many of the Agaria iron smelters, they also stopped work because of this famine, and deserted their villages and migrated to some other places for their other occupation and job. So looking for some other work to survive the hard times. Okay, and a large time of them never worked their never back to their furnaces again. So in this way, the iron smelting industry totally declined. But a surprising study also found, and according to a report of the Geological Survey of India, so iron smelting was at the time a widespread industry in India, and there is hardly a district away from the great alluvial tracts of the Indus, Ganges and Brahmaputra in which slag heaps are not found. What is slag heaps? Slag heaps means the waste left when smelting metal. After smelting any metal, some waste material also left, and these are called slag heaps, such as wrought irons. Okay, wrought irons also one type of slag heaps. Okay, but today the industrialized, they also reuse and recycle the slag heaps and made beautiful furnitures from the wrought iron. But for this, primitive iron smelters find it difficult to obtaining sufficient supplies of the ore from deposits that no European iron master would regard as worth his serious consideration. So in every village, the slag heaps are found, and they are very much fancy. They found it is very much fancy for them to use to left those slag heaps, because there are enough iron reserves were present. That's why they were not using the slag heaps. So huge amount of slag heaps also produced every year from the villages and from the districts of India, from those furnaces. Okay, from the people who smelt irons. Okay, so that's all from today's class, students. I hope you have understood. If you have any question, you can write in the e-portal. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you in the next class.